opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. Warning. The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and 2 parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming, unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, just like that one, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, there we go. It's like, what is it? It's like I skip a week and then it's like I forget how all of this works. It's like that's how it goes, right? So let's see who's in the chat today. Oh, hello, Efrain. Hello. Yes, Einstein says hello too, but he says hello when he feels like it, not when he's asked to. So there you go. You have your noise there, right there. So thank you so much. And yes, I see you. You're one lone person watching me from the giant eyeball on my screen. Hey, look, it's like I'm having a hard time getting my shit together for this too. So it's probably going to take a bit for everybody to get the well, yeah, something. Yeah, I know, right? Something practice. I know, right? It just doesn't matter how many times I do this. It just comes off like this. Like whatever this is, that's what we're getting. That's it. And hello, Jake. Oh my goodness. So like I said, it's like I'm still trying to get myself together for this. So it's going to probably take a little bit for everybody to come on in and I don't know, like I told Jake to join us in whatever this is. Did I did I read the mail yet? No, I did not actually. I did not. So is there something in the mail that I should be reading? Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of, like I said, whatever this is. It is the EagleWorks live stream featuring me. Me here, right here. Oh my goodness. It's like me, Daphne Lage. That's who I am. Absolutely. Because even then I still need a cue card for that, right? I'm just still trying to sort out. I have this feeling that I forgot to do something. So, so it's like that's going to bother me a bit until I get my groove here. But that's how it goes. So for those of you joining us on Facebook, joining us on Twitch, joining us on Twitter, welcome. And if you're joining us on YouTube, you know this already. So thank you so much for joining us today. And yes, and if you are especially joining us from Facebook and Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Join the sexy people in my chat. They're lonely today. There's only 2 of them. So come on over. Come on over and keep my chat company, while I try to get myself together. Sometimes Facebook has a tendency to act up. I think the last time we had a stream, Facebook completely went down. So that's why I always recommend everybody to come over to YouTube. And if you're watching us from Twitch, thank you so much for joining us there as well. I've never had a problem with Twitch yet. So, probably it'll be safe to watch us on YouTube and Twitch as well. So, like I was saying, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist and illustrator and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
Emotional damage.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure tall tales. which just completed its last run. Well, it's run on Kickstarter currently. There's never a last run for any of my books on Kickstarter. Thank you everybody who supported Tall Tales the Peacekeepers. I just sent out the books to the printers today, so hopefully by the first week of March I will get everything in and out of here to you guys just as quickly as possible. So thank you so much for everybody who pledged to the campaign. And speaking of campaigns, because like I said, it's never ending here, I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, EGOMANIACS, Heir of the First Unicorn, which will be launching on Kickstarter in about a month. It's like, you know, I'm going to see how a fulfillment goes on Peacekeepers. And the second that campaign is completely out the door, then we could talk about my girl returning to Kickstarter with EGOMANIACS, Heir of the First Unicorn, issue 6. Already we are on issue 6. I still can't believe it. I say it every time I pull up this card, issue 6 on Kickstarter. So make sure you check out the links in the show notes so that you get notified whenever any of my campaigns go live. You sign up on the website, sign up in the links below. And I am also known as a co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show. And now I remember what I forgot. I forgot to tell Anita I was going live today. So we're flying without a net. Dangerous. We are being dangerous today. So I am also co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show every Monday and Friday here on the Indie Comics Network. And also, in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can watch all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube, especially here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time any of our shows go live, but especially when my show goes live, because, you know, it's like, I'm trying to keep up with this stuff, but it's like, yeah, so you get notified every time we go live as a Indie Comics Network or as my individual stream as well. So yes. Oh, hello, okay, Fern. Okay, is it okay, Fern? Okay, Fern. I know that you corrected me the last time we were on, but I hope I got it right the last time. Let's see. It's like let's see. Oh, no dispatch. Well, no, like I said, I forgot to. I was all over the place today. I forgot to update everything, so I think that's why it's taking a little bit for everybody to come on in. Oh, so is that what's in the mail? A 2,000-word essay about today's topic. Oh, very nice. I'm going to definitely have to check that out because I have theories upon theories. So but yeah, we're going to definitely talk there we go. It's like okay, Fern. Okay, Fern. Oh, there we go. So okay, Fern. Okay, there we go. So thank you so much. And welcome everybody. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so what else do I have as let's see, for housekeeping? I keep forgetting to do this, and I think it's just as important that we all know, especially talking about with my fulfillment happening very shortly. If you as well have a fulfillment that you are doing, a crowdfunding fulfillment, or you just have comics you need to send out, don't forget that we have a 10% savings code for your next Gemini mailer order at Gemini Supply Company. Just use our coupon code RAGING10 and you will get 10% off your next order. And you don't necessarily have to order Gemini mailers. I actually use this coupon code to buy a hella ton of bags and comic book bags and boards, and it really did save me money. I don't know why I was surprised that it did that. I mean, we have the code for a reason, but yeah, it really did save me money, and now I have bags and boards for days. So yeah, so if you need to tidy up your collection, go buy bags and boards at Gemini Supply Company, and yeah, and don't forget to use our code and save 10%. So let's see. So what else? Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? That's a good idea. Yes. So we do have so a lot of campaigns just closed out this week. I want to congratulate Nina Amberline for Sunrise Blossom, for Mike Jimmy for his closeout for Life on Korra. And I think it's like, and I think that yeah, there was like a whole bunch of other campaigns too that closed out this week. But there is another one that's opening today as well. So why don't we give a little love to Doghouse, which is from Rodney and Tina of Roadkill Rampage fame. And yeah, and I also have a variant cover, actually technically two variant covers on their campaign as well. So again, the link to that is in the show notes below. They launched yesterday, and yeah, so where is, oh, it's like, yeah, oh, here it is. So let me just let the dogs out. I'll be right back. Oh, there you go. Wasn't that that's a lot of fun. So yeah, so if you want to check that out, links are in the show notes below to support Doghouse live on Kickstarter right now. Oh, hey Joe. Oh, well, look, we have Jake in the house. We have Joe coming in, and of course, you know what that means.
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts guys.
There we go. So now it's official. Now it's official. And here we go. You see, I need it's so before any of you got all cheeky, Nita is at the VIP room right now as we speak. So she's keeping an eye out on all of you. So now we've got the band back together. Now I can run this hot mess of a stream, the way it's supposed to. So there we go. So usually I wait a little bit, about like the first half hour before I switch over to the table camera. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. No, look, it's not your bad. It was my bad. Look, I almost forgot to connect the Indie Comics Network to the show. I only realized 5 minutes before I was going to go live that the YouTube channel was missing. So at least I was able to fix that. So you know what? We're all lucky we're here today. So, so usually I wait about a half hour before I, bring in the desk camera. But like I said, I have a bunch of stuff I want to show off today, which I think that you guys will, hopefully you guys will they'll think is, a little fun to look at. So right now what we have on the desk today is so what happened is that because we closed out Tall Tales the Peacekeepers, I had to do my accounting to get the books ready for the printer, to make sure that I'm ordering enough and whatnot. And I realized I sold 5 sketch covers through the campaign. So we're going to have to work on that. So I decided that we're going to be, that's what we're going to be drawing today, working on some sketch covers. However, I wanted to show off a couple of things. So, and also I just wanted to talk, I also wanted to show, to talk about a couple of things as well. If, especially if you haven't been following our vlog show, I've touched upon this for a couple of episodes already. And, and it's like, as I continue kind of building myself on crowdfunding, and just doing more issues and more, adding more issues and whatnot to my library of my own stuff. It's like what I like to do is I like to continue experimenting with what works, things that I could do, different things to kind of like get kind of like the word out or whatnot. And and one of the things that I came across that I thought was like a fun thing to do, and especially like I said, I showed this on the vlog already, but like I said, it's like we have people from Twitch watching, and everything. So one of the things that I came across that I thought was a really cute project to do, and feel free to steal this idea because God knows it's not an original idea by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a mini zine, or what I read as a micro zine. This is even smaller than a zine. I guess like a zine is usually 8.5 by 11 folded in half. So they were showing off how to do a micro zine, and and I thought it was such a fun little thing to do that I did this mock-up of pretty much what it is just a little summary of Ego Raven in just this little folded thing, with some pictures and whatnot, kind of give like a really easy I guess like starting point for whoever, like if you're at a convention. Yes, it is the teeny zine. Yes, it is. It's a teeny zine. I like that, and you're at a convention, someone's like going, I've never heard of your book before. It's like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, do you have any, it's like, well, what? Have my teeny zine. Yeah, there you go. You can put that. Look, it fits in your wallet. You can, it gives you a summary. And then, if you decide you want to, continue, reading up on the story or whatnot, maybe download a free PDF or whatnot. You can check out the QR code on the you can check out the QR code on the back cover. And here's the thing. If you unfold it, it turns into a mini poster. So there you have. So you always have a reminder of it. So I thought that was pretty cute. So how is this different from an ash can? Well, an ash can, I think, has a very specific definition. Ash cans were originally just Xeroxed like Xeroxed versions of a comic that was originally made just for copyright and trademark purposes. But I started seeing ash cans probably around the 90s, probably the later 90s. And all it was they were kind of like previews of comics that we were doing. I mean, that's what we did. Actually, let me see if I have. If you were following the Peacekeepers campaign, I literally had ash cans to original ash cans from when we did them back. This is what, 93. So this is what we understood at the time was an ash can. So let me just open this up just to show you what's So yeah, so here is the difference between an ash can and a microzine. So, as you can see, a microzine is a little too small to get really, like to have a whole comic in here. I mean, although some people have said that they have seen Conan comics squished to this size. And hey AJ. So this I would think is more like a promotional thing. And this is the actual ash can that we were selling when we were putting this book out in 93, 94. This is the original Tall Tales issue 2. And as you can see, it's pretty much just a Xeroxed version. Oh, kind of a really bad Xeroxed version, to tell you the truth. Xerox machines have come a long way since then. And this is just kind of like a way to get a sample of the comic out, without I mean, it's like this is like usually before the comic was printed, but you had these at the convention, to sell or give out, going, yeah, we have this coming out. At the time, it's like, okay, we have this coming out. It's going to be in this issue of previews. So just keep us in mind, and yada, yada. And, it's like, oh, how cute. How cute. It's like, if you think we're bad now, wait until we're in color. It's like, we couldn't afford to print in color back then. I don't know why we were talking like this. God, we were so full of shit back then. We were so full of shit. But that's besides the point, though. So, not quite. Not quite. Your math is slightly off. But I am not going to correct you. So this is what an ash can actually is. This is a microzine. So either one I think would work really well at a convention now that everybody is going back to conventions. So that was just a fun little thing that that we were offering up on the Peacekeepers website. I think this might be the only one that's left. I mean, everything. I mean, I was really surprised at how well these books sold on the campaign. So thank you everybody who bought them, because it was a surprise when we got them, and it was even more of a surprise that we sold them. So thank you so much. So I thought that was like kind of like a cute little thing, right? So the the thing that so connecting, I guess, like dovetailing to the title of the show, which is Manga the Future of American Comics, right? So on one of the vlogs, Jake, our very own beloved Jake, had asked a question. Oh, that, by the way, that JD did have answered on his show. I think it might have been it was not last week's, but the week before, Sunday show. So I think he opens up the show with it. So he did answer, his panel did answer the question. I just forgot to tell you. So Jake had asked about whether manga, because of the influence so many artists were having nowadays with with manga, like how that was going to change mainstream comics. And the answer that I gave him was that mainstream comics is going to ignore manga for as long as it possibly can. It's been ignoring it for the past 25, 30 years, and it still continues to ignore it. And I think that a lot of retailers, a lot of local comic book shops, they are going to bend over backwards to ignore the audience for manga until they can't anymore. And honestly, I think that they would rather go out of business than actually start I guess catering to an audience they never really wanted in their stores to begin with. And that would be younger customers and women, and it's like, yeah, it sounds fucked up that I'm saying that, but you know what? It's true. So, because, you know, a lot of these store owners, they treat their store as an extension of their collection. So that's how they treat their customers as well. And a lot of them are in very much denial about manga being the influence that it is. So that's my very superficial answer to it. But the question did have me thinking, you know, because I've heard this conversation before about how do we get the youths, right? How do we get the youths to get into comics? And the problem is that the wrong question gets asked. How do we get younger people to be interested in superhero comics, in American superhero comics as they are? And the answer is you don't, because they're not interested. If they were interested, they'd be reading it already. It wouldn't be such a struggle to be attracting all these kids reading manga to mainstream comics already. We wouldn't be having this conversation if that's all you needed to do. But it's like, yes, it sounds like a lot of people, you know what? Yes, if that's how they want to treat their stores, they can't be surprised when the audience dries up for it. You know, they really can't. Let's see. It's like people love the diversity of manga. I could read about vampires, baseball players, students, or dragons, or students with dragons, or students as dragons. Yeah, you see, and that's the thing too, because it's like, I know that's why I like manga, right? And then it's like, and then Jake, it's the first time we're seeing US comics being challenged in such an imposing soft power. They really are. And that's why I think that they're trying to kind of stay like kind of like ignore it. Like, oh, if they just ignore it, it'll go away. But what's happening is that it's just getting larger and larger and larger. So again, it's like, because, you know, there was this conversation about and it's like, look, I'm going to bring these out again because I've been obsessing about this company, Saturday AM, for like a little bit, and I'm going to continue to obsess about them. You know, so Saturday AM is a company. It's American. It's an American manga company, and they do what I learned was called OEL manga, which is original English language manga, which what I learned is a title, a genre, I guess, a category that the Japanese made up. Well, that the Japanese created to to kind of, to be able to categorize American comics, or at least manga that was made outside of Japan. So what's really funny is watching how the Japanese market is looking at American manga and going, okay, this is how our industry is changing, that we have to expand the category, while American comics are like going, these don't exist. Right? So, so like I said, there was this discussion about, okay, well, it's like, well, Scholastic puts out books like Dog Man or whatnot, where it teaches kids how to do comics, and that's great. But then for some reason, they skip the gap between grade schoolers and probably high school and older. Or even like, it's like they expect these kids to, because they read Dog Man, they're going to be picking up Watchmen, when they get old enough. And it's like, no, you have a gap there. There is no A Miracle Occurs here. And then all of a sudden kids are buying American manga. Buying American comic books. There's something in the middle that happens, right? And what's that something in the middle? It's the thing that they're ignoring. It's like what it is that these kids, they're reading Dog Man and learning how to do their own comics, but then they're transitioning to manga books. And we were just talking to Larry from Niobe on the other day. If you missed on Monday, if you missed that, oh hey, hello. if you missed that conversation, Larry actually says that kids are not interested in his comics. That even though he found Image Comics at 15, 15-year-olds right now are not interested in his comics. Why? Because they're reading this. They're reading, manga from Japan, translated from Japan. They're reading everything else but American comics. So he really knows his audience. He goes, look, just because I found it at 15, it was a completely different environment than it is now. So again, I'm obsessing on these books, right? And I really do have to sit down and really concentrate on reading these. Because I have, look, I have the stack that probably everybody else has, where it's like I'm buying the books and they're just getting piled up, right? And I really do have to sit down and read these. And I think what I have to do is that I have to read these and I have to do a video about it. It's like, and talk about the books a little bit more in detail. So that's like something that I probably seriously have to do, because it's probably the only way that I'll be able to finally get through all my books, is if I make a video about each book and just talk about it, kind of like not like a review, but like just talking about like what I liked about it and kind of like the overall story and whatnot, and that type of thing. So I took these books and I decided, okay, so if manga readers are a demographic that us as comic book creators, if we're not catering to them already, how do we get them interested in our books, right? And here's the thing, it isn't necessarily drawing like this. Maybe that's not the thing, Maybe it's like, well, what is it with this format? Is it the format? It's like, I think that I have a book that people are interested in reading, right? So in the end, it's like, there's no reason why somebody who's reading manga wouldn't be interested in any of my books. But maybe the format is keeping them from buying it, So, so right now, this is the format that I'm publishing in. This is, trade paperback comic book size and whatnot. And then it's like, obviously you could see, the manga next to it. And yeah, it's a little bit different. And that's, I was trying to kill my backlog. That's exactly, maybe that's what we need. We need a new show called Kill My Backlog, where I have to where I'm reading, where what it is, we have to read the books that we have in our pile, and then we just talk about it. But yeah, that's something, right? Exactly. That's something to consider, because it's like, here I have my book here that I sell for $25. It's 128 pages, about black and white, but it's $25. Here, I think you have like 200 and something pages. Do they even have page numbers on this? I think it's in the, probably. Okay, so the 195, well, those are the chapter numbers. So yeah, so let's say there's like 200 and something pages in this, and $13.99. I paid $13, $14 for it, compared to $25 for this. So yeah, format probably has something to do with this, right? So my question was, how do I take this, right, and make it more palatable for this audience, right? So what I was doing was I actually just played around with it. So what I did was I took it seems that there is a standard manga size in the United States. They said that I read that it was established by Tokyo Pop and Viz. So I ran with that, because a standard size through printer that a printer uses is usually less expensive than if I go with more of a custom size. So, and I think that they're able to do Saturday AM can do custom sizes because like they're in Walmart, they're at Barnes and Nobles. They probably print print in a volume that allows them to do custom sizes, or maybe there's a reason why they're this size. So I took one of my pages. So, so here is the original page as it appears in my trade paperback. Oh yeah, definitely no glossy paper. Yeah, it definitely has to be like uncoated and the whole thing. Yeah, it's definitely a different format, even for the covers. And I just set it up for the smaller size, for this standard manga size. And to tell you the truth, I'm actually pretty pleased with the result. I think that it's especially noticeable on this second page. You can see it, you can see the page as it is right here. But when I did it like this and I put that gray tone in the back, I'm like going, oh snap, my artwork is popping. Look at that. Like that black and white really jumps out of the page. And all I did was put that gray tone in the background. It's like it's like Tall Tales is a little, like it's drawn a little bit involved. And so I didn't want to like gray tone the actual pages, but I felt that if I put a gray tone in the background, it kind of gives me that look without, I guess, without like me going a little like, oh my God, I have to redo this. I mean, and that's the thing too. What I didn't want to do, because I saw DC had done a manga version of ElfQuest, and what they were doing was they were taking the panels, the individual panels, and enlarging them, and really it wasn't a good look. It really wasn't. It kind of looked hokey. Like, I don't know. It just didn't look right. The line work got stretched out. Word balloons got stretched out. It was kind of all over the place, and I really didn't like it. So I figure it's like, you know what? Let me just take the page as is and reduce it, put that gray tone in the background. And I think honestly, for like kind of like, well, you see, that's the thing. That's the one thing that I'm not doing. I'm not going to reverse it because then I can't read it. I'm not going to reverse it. And honestly, there isn't really a reason to, because you know why? Because they didn't have to do it. There, you read Apple Black, reads American style because it's like, it's an American manga. Manga only means comic anyway in Japanese. So, yeah, so it's like, so they're not forcing something that's not necessary, so like I'm, so like I and especially it's like, yeah, it's like I don't feel and I don't feel it's necessary to kind of like go all the way and reverse the pages. But yeah, so I was really pleased with how this came out. I mean, what's really funny is that I thought Tall Tales would be more complicated. But it actually might be the book that would be the easiest one to make this jump to, to make this conversion to this format. So that's the really funny thing about it. However, because Tall Tales isn't the only one. So here I have Ego Raven. So Ego Raven is in its, like regular comic book size, American comic book size, except it's the full color. And even though I had originally did the pages in black and white, what I wanted was I wanted to keep kind of like the tones in this, but I didn't want to just convert it to gray tone, because that's not what this looks like. This is not converting this is not converting color pieces to gray tone. This is, using shades and whatnot. So I got a different result from this one. So this I thought was pretty interesting. So what I did was I took the shading layer that I have here that, is obviously in color. And And I converted that shade. I knocked out all the other colors, leaving it the line art, but kept that shading layer in and converted it to gray. So, you know, you have the gray there. And then again, I put that gray tone in the background. And I think it came out really close, you know. You know what? I agree. I think we as creators make this question more complicated than it is. It's not format like in the technical sense. You're right. It's like I don't think that I have to like have my stuff redrawn by somebody who can imitate a mangaka style. I just think that as long if I present my book in a format that's familiar to this audience that I'm trying to cater to, that they will be more receptive to it. You know, so if I come out with Eager Raven looking like this would probably be the equivalent of 2 volumes. So like 200 and something pages in this format, that I would have better luck breaking into that audience than not doing anything at all, you know, than leaving it like this and expecting them to buy this instead, which we know that they're not. So I think that this is a much better, so this is like closer to kind of like the ideal that I'm looking for. So again, if we kind of like flip the page here, we have like a multiple panel page, and this is what it looks like. And with this one and with the lettering and whatnot, so again, it's like, I think that the line art really pops a lot more, which I'm really happy with. That gray shading really adds to the artwork. It kind of just gives it a nice feel that I'm looking for. The only thing that I'm kind of questioning on this one is the size of the word balloons. Jose said that it looked fine to him. I'm not sure. I think I might experiment more with just enlarging the word balloon layer slightly, but I'm not sure. I mean, I can read it just fine the way it is. So maybe it's like what Joe says, maybe I'm just, you know, well, yes, pretty much. They've been saying that since 1980 and they've been ignoring it since 1980. That's pretty much, you know. And you know, so the lettering is the only thing that I kind of have an issue with, but I'm not really sure. Like, it's like Joe says, sometimes we have a tendency to make these things more complicated than they really need to be. So that's kind of like the experiment that I'm currently working with. So that's kind of what I have so far. I mean, this is probably going to be something I'm still going to be playing around with and maybe slowly putting together, because we're talking about with Tall Tales, I have like almost like 1,000 pages worth of stuff, and then with Eager Raven, it's like I'm already like you know, like 300 pages, 400 pages in, you know. So it's like you know, it's going to take me a while. And here's the thing too, because here's also the other thing that we have to consider. You know, manga also, what gives it is its advantage is the fact that you can go to Barnes and Nobles, you can go to Walmart, and you can pick up manga there. You know, it's like this accessibility that is also another thing that's like, oh, you can't find comics in the supermarket and whatnot, right? But kids know where to buy manga. And this is the thing too. Kids buy manga. You go to Barnes and Noble, and that manga section is full of like young adults and teens and, you know, all there. Yeah, okay, they're all reading the manga there, but they eventually buy them. So, you know, unlike like a Kickstarter, I guess, where it's like kids are not buying books on Kickstarter. That's why like even like all ages books have a hard time selling on Kickstarter. Because yeah, kids don't have pockets. It seems they don't have pockets for the credit card, mom's credit card, I guess, or whatnot. Maybe at Barnes and Noble, maybe at Barnes and Noble. So that was my kind of like, so this was my converting to manga. Like, what would it look like? So there's a lot of potential. I'm very happy with what I'm able to see so far with this. But yeah, it's going to be something that's going to take me a little bit to still kind of play around with and just figure out for sure, as to what we're going to do with it. Now, speaking of Japan, I want to show this one a little. We're kind of switching gears a bit, but I want to show off these books that I got yesterday, and I bought these from a Japanese reseller on eBay, and these are literally how to draw manga books. And I was looking up for some reference, and I came across, I guess, like just posts showing off these books. So I went on eBay, and I do have to admit, buying Japanese books they're a lot more affordable, comparatively to back in the 80s, where even just being able to look at a book from Japan could cost you hundreds of dollars. Because usually it took like one guy going to Japan, buying up as many books as they could, then selling it for a premium in the United States. And now it's like the types of books that I can just buy off the internet is just absolutely a beautiful thing. And for a pretty reasonable price. Like these books, they cost me about like $45 each. So, so what I really liked about these books is, what do they sell for? So here it says, so 1900 yen. Okay. So what's the conversion? So what they usually say, it's about dollar for dollar. So it's like a $20 book. Okay. So I paid double the price, right? But, it's still a lot cheaper than what these books used to go for, if you were buying it from a reseller. It's kind of like Copics. In Japan, Copics are $3 a piece. If you buy them here, you're spending $8 to $10 depending on the color, right? So what I really liked about these books is the specificity of the, was that like thunder? Wow. It's like, I don't know. It's like, sounded like an explosion back there. It's like, so what I really liked was the specificity of it. So, they literally had a whole bunch of books, in this series. And this one was literally it was like something about like friends poses or something, it's just like, friends being friends, it's like just hanging out together, and just like, like school, hanging out in school and whatnot. It's, friends being friends, and, yeah, I guess it depends on just what you're drawing, what you need to draw, and like, and how, to put the characters together and whatnot. And, I guess like the type of compositions that you can do. It's like, it's like just very, I just really liked how specific these books got. And this one in particular, was specifically for composition, how to do. Oh yeah, and it's like I have to try the CD. Good thing I have like an old CD player on my thing. So this one is like how to, I guess, like compose covers or posters. or something, and it shows you all like the different, I guess, like composition rules. Like the golden ratio and the rule of thirds, and like how items are supposed to flow within a piece, and and then it's like they have like all these different type, I guess, like samples, and and it's just like, what, it's like, yeah, I just had to buy them. I just had to buy them. I think that you can never have enough art books, and especially since I'm paying for an accountant this year, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna buy all the art books I can and get them all deducted for next year's taxes. Screw it, it's work related. So I thought these were pretty interesting. Like, just to show you how specific some of the books got, there was literally a book on how to don't laugh. They had books specifically for hentai. If you were drawing hentai, they had a book that specific, like, all it was how to draw, book like this, just on how to draw men's hips. I mean, for real. It's like, and there's another one, there's like how to draw chibi couples, and they literally have a section of chibi couples doing things that we can only talk about on House of Bob. So they have literal books on, like, that's how hyper specific they got on what you needed on the type of I guess whatever the type of manga that you're doing. And it's like, you know what, for transparency's sake, I did make another order, and I did buy that how to draw chibi couples books. I did buy that, and I also bought a book specifically for Yoi. because it seems that I've gone full Fujoshi in my old age, so I need to have, so I bought those 2 books, so those should be coming in about a week, or in about a week or so. So yeah, that, like I said, that they don't laugh. That's how hyper specific that they got. So about these covers. That I'm supposed to be working on. So one of the other books that I got, which we will be using in conjunction with these. Well, it's like, I don't know what you knew, but I ain't talking. So there is another book. I don't remember if I showed it on the stream or not, but we're going to be using this book specifically for these sketch covers, just to try them out. So a book that I had gotten, now I got this from Kickstarter. So I'm pretty sure I showed this, but for those of you who missed out and might be interested in it. So a company called Masters of Anatomy, they did a Kickstarter for these poses books that I was able to get this particular one on. The thing that I regret is that I didn't get the other books in their collection. I thought, well, I'm not familiar with this. Let me try out one book. And it turns out that they only have available what they did the Kickstarter for. So the other books that I wanted, I was only able to get as a downloadable PDF, but it's downloadable only in the sense that I could only use their reader to use it. So I have it on my phone so that it's easier for me to look through it. So, but when they come out with the physical versions again, I'm going to buy the physical versions of the books, but it's still very helpful. So this is literally just, I guess they got like a whole bunch of artists to do literally a collection of poses. And this one specifically is for weapons. The other books that I got as the PDFs was like action poses, and like one was like generic action poses, and then the other one was specifically fighting. Like you could tell that there was a lot of MMA. Someone was watching a lot of MMA while they were drawing. So that one is specifically like people fighting each other. I mean, again, it's like, they decided. I liked the books because of how specific they were. So so this book, I picked up, I was able to pick up from their Kickstarter. And in order to try it out, so what I did was I actually put together a layout using poses from this book that's going to eventually turn into a cover for a future Tall Tales book that I'm working on. And let me see if I can get this to load properly on the screen. Let me see if I remember how to do this. There we go. So this is the layout. So this is what I did was I actually took my phone, photographed the poses that I wanted, right? That I figured, okay, this one, this one, this one. And then I put it together in this layout that, like I said, is going to eventually be a cover for a future book, a future trade paperback. So yeah, so it's like, I have these that I drew myself that I had lying around in a sketchbook, and I go, okay, I still like these, but I was having so much problems trying to get this other like squad pose going. So I took poses that I liked in the book, and then I photographed them, and then I cut them out, and I began to arrange them how I kind of like saw the idea, how I saw the layout in my head. And then, I dropped in a background that I was like, okay, I'm going to, like, from the comic, from like a Tall Tales issue that I had. It's like, okay, I want to use this maze background. And this is how I put it together. I haven't drawn it out yet because, so I played around with it like this. And then when I dropped it, okay, let me see if I can do it. So this is the cover that, the mock-up of the cover that I wanted this piece for. So the thing is, though, is that when I went to embed it as it was, right? So as you can see, my a lot of my trade dress gets in the way of the image. So but at least this way, I can adjust the characters however I need to in order to get it to fit in the cover the way I need it. And then I can draw it. And then once I have like move all the characters and whatnot, because yeah, if I go back to the original here, I have everything on a separate layer. So it's like, if I had wanted to move, like, okay, so this guy, maybe I want him more like up here or down here, I could just move everything around according to how the trade dress is. And then when I'm done, I could finally just sketch over it. Usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to print it out and then sketch over it so that lightbox it. And then, I can get my cover put together. Like, I know, like, these two, I'm going to have to move. Okay. Oh, where it is. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's right here. Yeah. So I know that I can't have a character behind all that text. So I'm going to have to move this one, probably move this one over more. I mean, I like the way this is posed, but obviously I'm going to have to extend that background so that I'll have more along the top here, so that the background, so that the trade dress is covering the background and not necessarily the characters. So that's how I'm initially, that's pretty much how I'm using this book. So let me go back. So for this, so it's like we're just hitting the first hour. So I guess I better get to drawing something, right? So so like I said, it's like I sold 5 copies of Tall Tales sketch cover on the Peacekeepers campaign. So of course I'm going to have to draw 5 sketch covers. We have to do that. We have to fulfill, right? So I might as well get these started, before the books come in, so I have these ready. So what? Oh, let's see. A little dirty. So what I want to do. Okay, so let me just close this. I'm just closing up that file in Photoshop so I can move my stuff over. So it's like, there we go. Okay. Well, yeah, it's like, look, not everything is about pissing me off, I mean, that's pretty much, oh, right. It's like, yeah, that's what I knew I was forgetting something, Jake. Yes. Yes. And speaking of Jake, yes. So we're going to have, so House of Bob is this coming Saturday already, the last Saturday of the month. For those of you who don't know, House of Bob is our adults only stream where we have conversations and show off artwork that's not appropriate for the date crowd. And you have to be logged in and age verified in order to watch. But yeah, so Saturday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, we will have Jake Twister on, and we're going to be talking about just professionals that do I guess adult artwork on the down low, and we're going to be talking about some artists that I was surprised to find out that they did adult artwork, and we're going to talk more about adult manga and hentai and all that fun stuff. And so join us Saturday from at 8 p.m. Eastern for House of Bob with me, Nita, and Jake Twister. And we're just going to have a grand old time, Yeah, Saturday. Well, it's like from 8 to 10. So 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, we haven't done the 10 p.m. for a while. Although tell us if that's going to be an issue for you, because I know that you're in Norway and the time difference is a little intense. So just talk to Nita and we'll figure out something. We'll figure out something for you if that's an issue. So so what I'm going to do is I am going to randomly open up the book and okay, right, okay, so all right, so just tell us what you need. Just tell us just tell us what you'll need and we'll accommodate. We'll hook you up, bro. Oh, there's my music. It's like, hold on, I don't know why StreamYard keeps doing that to me. So there we go. So I don't know why. So yeah, so let's see here. Okay, so I just opened up a page randomly, and let's pick something here. What do we got here? I really like this one's calling to me. I really like this one. So let me take that pose and let's draw something on here. So let's get so let me get my music started. Let's see, here we go. There we go. So can everybody hear the music? Are we good? Yeah. I'm assuming everybody can hear it. It's like, okay, so we're in. Okay. So yeah, so let's let's put in, so let's take this guy and let's let's put him in right here. Now, of course, being a pose, now here's the thing too. I do have a video on my channel that is about how to use reference, how to use reference, to draw with, in your pieces. Because there seems to be a never-ending debate, which shouldn't be a debate. It's a no-brainer. Only idiots debate this. I'm just going to be right out. If you wanted a rant, here's your rant. Using reference is not cheating. Me, like tracing over these images in Photoshop in order to get the poses that I want is not cheating. And if you think that it is, good luck with sucking. That's all I can say. It's like, if you want to improve as an artist, you have to use reference. It's like, because what it is that it looks like we can do it from memory because we've done it so many times that we have the muscle memory to be able to create poses from memory, but it doesn't mean that that we don't use reference. So there, yeah, I know, really, it's like these kids, I don't know, I mean, they still argue this stupid shit, and it's like, you know what? How about less arguing about whether reference is cheating, and more actually practicing your work properly, so that you actually get better at what you do? How about that? And also the thing is too is that it's like, look, also, if it makes you feel any better, you cannot copyright poses. Okay? I mean, that's just what poses in and of itself, they're too generic to be considered copyrightable. Now, somebody doing this book and putting it together, that this is the copyrighted aspect of the book, so the book itself is what's copyrighted. The actual poses, the generic poses, that's not. It's like, that's why I'm able to just take that and take this and just redo the pose. But here's the thing, though, I don't want the exact pose. You see, and this is the thing too, you shouldn't want the exact pose. It's like, the idea is that the pose is a base, and then you still have to draw your own stuff on top of it. This is not tracing. Even if I were to go in with a tracing paper and literally trace this, when I draw on top of it, it's going to be a different thing. It's like, because that's how you're able. Very good, Jake. Yes, exactly. Hold on, my mouse. Yes, that doing comics does not give room to practice, and the smart ones combine practice with working, which is pretty much how I did it. It's like, I didn't practice comics and then all of a sudden just showed up and says, okay, now I want to do a comic. I literally learned how to do comics by being thrown off the deep end. And it's like, and it's sink or swim from there. And that's kind of what it was. It's like, so that's what I had to learn how to do. I had to learn how to practice, but still get the work done the way it needed to be done at the same time. So yeah, it was just, and in the end, nothing, well, what I like, the thing that I follow mostly is actually something that Dave Sims said, fix it on the next page. You know, it's like, because what he didn't what he was saying, that it's like, look, you know, I'm not going to sit here fussing. You know, if I can fix it later, I'll fix it later. You know? And now mind you, if you've seen Dave Sims' work and Gerhard's work on Cerebus, when he says not to fuss with something, it has a very, very different you have to understand that phrase in the context of the work that he was doing. This was a master illustrator. You know, so it's like when he says that, you know, he'll fix it later, or fix it on the next panel, we're still talking about a very high level of skill that he has. You know? So okay, so here we have, okay, so here, you know, so here we pretty much kind of got the pose copied over, right? So we took the pose and we got that, and then I changed slightly some things. But you know what? At least what I liked about this little moment is the fact that I didn't have to think about it. It's like I didn't have to sit here and going, okay, what pose am I going to do? What am I? It's like, no, you just open up the book, randomly choose something, and just transfer it over. Right? So we got that. So we got the pose that we wanted. So now we can actually just move on to actually drawing, because now I didn't have to think about it. So this part actually went pretty quickly. So now I'm just going to, let's see. We're going to decide, let's see. Let's, you know what? Let's make it Ravenwood, because it's like he's all dramatic and stuff. So we're going to do that. So let me rough out. Let me rough out Ravenwood here. Now here's the thing too, that also it's like, if you are, you know, if you kind of, that I always have to keep in mind whenever I'm using kind of like a human base for a furry, is that sometimes I have to adjust proportions as I'm drawing more detail, because I don't know, it's, for me, a furry isn't just putting a dog head on a human body. The body has to work with the head, essentially. So it's like when I'm, you know, so it's like when I'm drawing, yeah, so what I'm drawing here, I'm drawing, you know, so here we have Ravenwood's head, but I have to kind of like bulk out the body a bit so that it matches with what I started with with the head. So now, you know, yeah, because it's like, you know, because also Ravenwood has a different body type, and that's also, it's like you gotta keep that into consideration as well. Like you can't just, like, it wouldn't make sense for me, like you saw that layout that I did. It's like it wouldn't make, like, it's literally just for the pose. It's like, because the body types, none of the body types fit any of my characters. So it wouldn't make sense to me to trace literally the poses, because I'm not going to get what I need. And I think that's kind of like a mistake, that, or at least a misconception that I think that these kids have, that it's like, oh, if you're just tracing the pose, it's like, no, there's a lot more going. You know what? I don't even know why I'm even arguing the thoughts of children on the internet. You know, it's like there was a tweet that popped up that my being able to see the opinion of a 14-year-old should be considered a war crime. see the opinion of a 14-year-old on Twitter should be considered a war crime. And, because it's like I don't know, these kids, man, it's like, what? They're not reading enough manga if they have time to be tweeting stupid shit like that, Because, it's just really funny how it's like you follow enough individual manga artists or anime artists. I have a whole bunch of books up there from different manga artists. And to see how many of them swipe from each other is hysterical. Literally on point. So many of them. If there's like so many of them rip off from Shiro, it's not even funny. And and then it's like to have these, and these are professionals. I used to have a book. Oh, I forgot what it was called. But there's a particular painting by Titian that it seems that if you were a classical painter, if you were a painter back in the day, if you were a contemporary of Titian or whatever, there was a particular painting that if you were worth your salt, everybody copied. That there was this particular painting that every master artist did their own rendition of based on that painting. Like pretty much they were all copying Titian, this Titian painting. And, and it's just like, oh, it's like, if you're, if you copy, if you use reference or you're a fake artist or whatnot, and it's like, and here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. If I'm so fake, then how come so many of you guys can't do it? Like these kids complaining. How come y'all can't do it? It's like there was this thing when I used to go to conventions, I used to do like minion and pony portraits. And I'm sure I must have told this story already. And because I was doing so many of them, what I would do is I would blue line the poses first. So I would have them ready. So if anybody would ask for them, I just had to pull it out and start drawing. Right? But the thing is that I had to hide these pieces because when people saw them, they would go, oh, you drew it already. That's cheating. Meanwhile, all it was something that looked like this. And there were so many times I wanted to be a dick about it. Turn it, do this. It's like, okay, so you can finish it. You finish it. Right? But that's not how it works, right? So so it's like, so then it's like, whenever these 14-year-olds come on Twitter say, oh, you cheated, you're a fake artist and whatnot, what, in the end, it's like, okay, all right, yeah. So, if this is cheating, then why you're the one that's sucking? How come you can't seem to improve? Because you're resisting everything that an actual artist does to actually move forward with their artwork. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, the opinions of 14-year-olds is a war crime. that's the idea is like, what is it? There was another tweet where someone was telling a story about a writers group that they were in. And the teacher told them that what they needed to do is that they had to take their favorite author and, and he said that what you have to do, take your favorite author and then imitate their writing style. And So one of the students had asked, but if we imitate their writing style, won't people be able to recognize who we copied from? And the guy goes, you guys suck so badly as writers, no one would notice. No one will be able to tell. Right? And in the end, it's like, that's kind of like the same thing. It's like, you know what, you kids, just trace what you need to trace so that you build that muscle memory. No, you suck so badly, no one's going to notice who you traced it from. You know, and here's the thing too, and it's like, again, for transparency's sake, you know, it's like, it's like, if I see a piece that I really, really like there's something about the poses that I really like, I trace the shit out of it. You know, I take that pose, I take that screen grab, and I trace the figures, trying to figure out, okay, what makes this pose really good? You know, what makes this pose work? And then I take that pose and then I try to incorporate it into something that's one of mine to see if I can imitate that. To say, it's like, okay, so they were able to do this, you know, it's like, let me trace the figures and see if I can transfer it over and see if I can imitate that and see if I can figure out what they're doing and create my own artwork out of it. You see, and that's the thing too. You're in the end, you're creating your own artwork. You're not just tracing what they're doing and then calling it a day. I mean, you're studying what they're doing in order to do it for your piece. And then the idea is that you figure out you figure out what it is that they're doing, and then eventually you'll begin to be able to do it by memory. You know, yeah, I guess you're mild. You know what's funny? I think it has something to do with whether they're paying for it or not. I think that I think what it is that the most resistance I got was from people who were paying for the sketches, and I guess they felt that by me having it drawn already, even though there was nothing on the paper, just some squiggles, that they weren't getting their money's worth. I think that's I kind of have a feeling that that's what the issue was. You know, but if you're just like, if I was just sitting there sketching out sketch covers, you know, and had them I don't think anybody, I don't think that they would have thought they would have had the same complaint. I really do think it's because they were paying for it. You know, but then again, these are also usually the same people who think that if they buy 2 sketches, they get a discount. You know, and it's like, bitch, no. I'm not. Do I have Walmart anywhere? That's not how this works. Which, that's another issue. That's a separate issue at conventions. You know. It's like, I don't, it's like, this is not, you know, this is not like industrial anything. I'm literally drawing each piece the same amount of time. I mean, it's like, there is no, oh, it's like, well, you're doing 2. Yeah, but no. It's not, this is not a bulk thing. Original art is not a bulk thing. It's not a volume, you know? It's like, I don't get faster by drawing more, you know, well, by drawing more at the same time, you know? it's still the same amount of effort whether I draw 1 piece or 20 pieces in one sitting, you know? Oh, Jake. Oh, Jake. Bless your heart. You be goddamn. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. It's like, I mean, really, you know, I mean, that's exactly what it was. They were literally haggling for Minions artwork, you know. So let's see what else. Okay, so going back to the manga topic, right? So so I was watching Tyler Carpenter's one of Tyler Carpenter's most recent video. Tyler Carpenter's most recent video, where he was talking about, you know, how to save comics by doing the one thing no one else will do, right? And what's funny was that his answer actually surprised me, although I have spoken about this on one of the vlogs. And he said the problem with mainstream comics is that it's way too full of people who actually don't like comics. That there's way too many people who'd rather make 3-hour videos on how much they hate comics than talk about the comics that they do like, that they do enjoy. And, you know, and what happens is that creates an environment where why would you expect anybody to buy comics? Right? Because it's like, if you didn't know anything about comics and you go to look something up on YouTube and it's all these guys doing 3-hour videos as to why Marvel sucks or DC sucks, and somebody got their MPreg fic turned into an actual storyline or whatever, who cares, right? I mean, does that encourage you to go buy comics? You know? And he was talking about how when you look at the manga community, though, it's completely the opposite. Now, I'm not that familiar. I'm not that familiar with the manga community, but hey, let me tell you, like I said, I've been obsessed with Saturday AM, you know, the guys who produce Apple Black, and they have a new book called Clock Striker and the whole thing, right? They have their books. I have never once seen a post from anybody in that organization talking about how their books, that you should buy their books because the other company's books suck. You know, all they talk about is how proud they are about their books. You know, it's like how much fun they have. You know, you see, look, like I said, I'm not familiar with that, you know, I'm not familiar, you know, but you know, superficially, if I was looking at it superficially, I know what I'm seeing superficially. When I go look up manga, I'm more likely to see people enjoying the books and telling me their favorite manga than if I were to look at somebody talking about an American mainstream comic and they're talking about how, oh, Red Sonja sucks because they don't have her titties hanging out enough. Or whatever the fuck stupid shit they're complaining about. You know? You know, but the thing is, though, you have to consider that this is what the algorithm encourages, right? So Tyler was talking about how the big name comic book, well, of course, Jake, you know, it's like you're going to step in a shit pile. You can't complain that your shoes smell like dog shit, you know? I mean, no. But, you know, so Tyler was saying that, you know, because of how the algorithm works, larger name comic book, you know, comic vloggers or whatnot, they're not incentivized to talk about their favorite indie comics or comics that they even like. They're not incentivized by that, because that's not what the algorithm rewards them for. That's not what they get sponsorships for. That's not what they get ad revenue for. They get ad revenue by being complete dickweeds on YouTube, right? I mean, it's like, you know, Jose sometimes likes to tell me about, oh, the clownfish people. And I'm like, every time I hear clownfish, I'm like going, I hope that couple never enjoys anything for the rest of their lives. Because honestly, I think that they're the epitome of hate tube, you know, or at least media hate tube. You know, where everything, they're bitching about everything and this and that, and sucks, and Disney sucks, and this, that, and the other thing, and everything sucks. And it's like, and there comes a point where it's like, you guys must be insufferable in person because you guys hate everything, you know? You know, and I think that a lot of comics YouTubers follow that lead, because again, it's like they're incentivized to just talk shit, you know? But at the same time, right? So Tyler is saying, so how do we fix this? It's like easy. It's like we start talking more positively about the comics that we like, about you know, what we're enjoying and whatnot. But here's the catch, though. This was the part that also surprised me. It did, but it didn't, you know. And it also was something that I really, you know, it really made me rethink how it's like, okay, you know, maybe I need to do something a little different. Where he was saying that it's like nobody makes money on YouTube just talking about indie comics. So even if you love indie comics, the average person watching YouTube, they don't give a shit about indie comics. They want to hear more about your favorite Batman comic or your favorite Spider, which what's funny, which they're not hearing anyway, because everyone is just complaining about what sucks about these companies, right? And the whole point, so to prove a point, what he did was is he pulled up, I guess I forgot which company, he pulled up their website, and he goes like, when he was talking about the new Chainsaw Man volume when that came out, how the company did a preview video of it. He goes, when was the last time you saw Marvel or DC put out a preview video for whatever's in stores right now? You know, it's like, I mean, honestly, it's like these companies, they treat comics like they don't exist. They're producing comics, but they treat their own product like it doesn't exist. And the ironic thing about it is that they depend on the rage hordes or the rage whores on YouTube to spread the word through their hatred of the books that these books are out. You know, like pretty much these people are getting played. You know, they're playing. It's like there's this whole stupid there's this whole there's this whole stupid thing where it's like they created kind of like a media platform based on this nonsense, you know, where it's like they put out something stupid, you know, like an Mpreg fanfic, and then they depend on all these angry fanboys to make videos about it so that everybody knows the book is out. So Tyler was talking about how how he says he doesn't see that in manga circles. And like I said, superficially, I don't see that either. If I wanted to look up something, it's like, okay, I wanted to find out more about Berserk or whatever. It's like, or I don't know, whatever book I'm reading, at the moment. Like I said, I have to make videos so that it forces me to finish reading these books so I can talk about them more. And what it is that they have, like, Chainsaw Man comes out. What happened? Everybody rallied around it. Oh, Chainsaw Man is out. And then it's like you have all the video reviews and they're all talking about it, like, oh, how they love the book. And, it's like an evening. It's like, oh, well, this is what I liked about it. This is that. Or it's like, but you have to get it. Make sure you pick it up and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's a much more positive experience. And because the community is so much larger, they're able to bypass the algorithm's need for you to be negative to get engagement. Because the engagement, they're making the engagement work for them because so many people love the thing, whatever the thing is, that these channels that do positive, I guess, like manga videos are actually able to succeed. Meanwhile, when it comes to American mainstream comics, nobody wants to hear the good stuff. It's like, okay, look, Goodwin's Law is the Hitler thing. In fact, the first person to mention Hitler loses. Well, the other literary law. 95% of everything is crap. Sturgeon's Law. 95% of everything is garbage. So it's like, so if that's the case, why, just because 95% of something is garbage, why do we have to talk about that 95%? Why don't we talk about the 5% that's actually really good? Yeah, it's Sturgeon's Law. Is actually really good. Okay, so if 95% of what mainstream is what mainstream produces is garbage, how come nobody wants to support the 5% that isn't? Well, it's because, according to Tyler, they hate comics anyway. It doesn't matter. They don't like comics. They don't like it enough to show any joy in it. Or at least this is how I was interpreting Tyler's video. yeah, because it's like, it's true. You wouldn't think so. I mean, that's the thing. The way a lot of these guys talk, they'll talk till they're blue in the face on how much the other guy sucks. But here's the funny thing. They don't even talk about how their stuff is any good. They don't talk about it. It's like they don't talk about the passion they had in creating their own comic. They don't talk about it's like how, it's like they're following their dream or whatever. It's like, I don't know, whatever nonsense. Whatever. It's like, bro, do you even like doing comics? If the only thing I'm going to hear from you is how much the other guy sucks? So, oh, hold on. I lost my screen. Hold on. I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. Oh, okay, there we go. Hold on. Let me just, I mean, it's like, so yeah, so that's the strange thing. I mean, it's like, you're doing a comic but you hate it. You know, I mean, it's like you have nothing more to say about it than, well, it's like I wanted, you know, it's like it's better than what DC and Marvel are putting out. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, yeah, so do I. I don't need that in my life. Yeah, I don't need that in my life either. You know, and here's the thing. Oh yeah, and that's a good point too. Just because you don't like something or somebody doesn't like something doesn't mean that I won't like it. You know, I mean, it's like, and I've had, you know, and it's like, look, I have blocked people for, like, I would say that I really liked something, and then I would get like someone posting going, oh, let me explain to you why it sucks. And it's like, bitch, that's not what I said. I didn't say I liked something because I'm too stupid to know why it sucks. I told you I liked something because I liked something. You know, and it's like, yeah, I refuse to engage with those people either. It's like, just because I like something is not an invitation for you to tell me why it sucks. You know? And you know, and yeah, and it's like, you know, you don't need that. You don't need those people in your life. You don't need to cater to them. You don't need to. And this is the thing too. Just because someone is talking to you doesn't mean you have to debate them. And, you know, it's like it doesn't. It's like, really. It's like you don't have to debate everybody with an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them, and boy, do we love showing it on the internet. But it doesn't mean we have to engage. And no, I am not going to engage with somebody who's determined, who for some reason thinks that my enjoyment of something is a mark of my stupidity. You know, if I like something, I like something. I don't give a shit. You know? It's like, so yeah, so it's like I'm going to talk. So it's like, yeah, you know, and I think Tyler is right that what we need to do is, like, one, curate our experience. Well, that's more of a me telling you guys that. Curate your experience so you're surrounded with people who actually enjoy comics, enjoy talking about comics, right? And will add to the positivity of the conversation, right? And talk about comics positively yourself. You know, it's like, you know, when you feel the need to talk about something that maybe you don't like, kind of stop yourself and think about the ancients and think about Marcus Aurelius saying, you don't need to have an opinion. You know, and this was something that I've been really trying to get to seep into my head this past week. I do not have to have an opinion. You know, it's like, if I don't like something, okay, that's it. You know, it's like, I want to talk about things that I do like. You know, what do I care about something that I don't like? Right? You know, I mean, you know, cause it's like, you know, like if I were to start doing those videos, right? So I read Apple Black and I read Stravaganza. I finally read that Goblin Slayer light novel, you know, finally get through my pile that's here, right? And then I just talk about it, right? It's not a review. I'm not going to be doing a review because it's like, in the end, it's like, I don't know what you like. I don't know what you're into. All I can do is just, like, introduce you to what I found, what I read. And then it's like, the rest of it is like, well, this is what I like. This is what I didn't like. You know, it's like, I would have preferred this, maybe, you know, not enough of that, you know. Or it just say, look, you know, it's like, I had a good time. This is what the story is about. I was entertained. You know, It doesn't have to be deep. You see, that's the funny thing. It really doesn't. I'm not going to make a 3-hour video about, I don't know, analyzing this. There are people who do that already. And honestly, in a lot more interesting ways. I know that those... Yes, I think that might be a direct quote. I mean, it's just more about just, okay, this is what I did. This is what I read. It's like, what are you guys into? And, or maybe like, here's something that I think that you guys would like, And I think in the end that us as a whole, as a community, would benefit a lot more from that. And I think that, I just think that it's just creating a better environment overall. Although the one thing that I did, that Tyler did say, that I kind of had to grit my teeth. Well, you see, here's the funny thing. I gritted my teeth when he first started talking about it. But then, the more I thought about it, that's like, well, that makes complete sense. So he was talking about how in order for independent comics to gain more traction, like on our channels or whatnot, we have to expand our audiences by talking about stuff that people recognize. Like we have to talk about mainstream stuff. Like we have to talk about mainstream stuff 10 times, and then we can talk about an independent comic. And at first, I have to admit, I bristled at that. But then it's like, the more I thought about it, it's like, it's kind of like the fan art theory, that the fan art, it's like, if you draw fan art, well, this wasn't my personal experience with drawing fan art at conventions, but, technically the idea exists for a reason, that it's like you use fan art to attract the audience, to try to attract the audience that may be interested in your original stuff. And I mean, like I said, that wasn't my experience with doing fan art at conventions. At conventions, I got a lot of, do you do Deadpool? No. And they would move on. I really didn't get that, let's just say, return of time investment, of doing fan art and then having that translate into sales for my original work. But I think that in terms of the context of YouTube, that it's like, he says that if you talk about your favorite mainstream comics, that people would like, if I, and it's like, it made sense. Like, well, I can just as easily talk about my Conan collection. I could just as easily talk about Meta Barons. I could just as easily talk about ElfQuest or X-Men, the Asgardian Wars. I could talk about the original, the Mike Mignola run on Rocket Raccoon back in '85. I could talk about that. And the idea is that, like, say if I were to do more videos on that, if I were to do a video on Goblin Slayer, right? It's like, does anybody give a shit about the controversy? Right? Does anyone even remember that? It's like, it's like, would that attract people? Enough people to my channel that I can get a percentage of those people to actually be interested in my original stuff. Because in the end, he said that's marketing. It's like, we may not like the idea that we're technically talking about other people's stuff, But the idea is that we're talking about other people's stuff in order to create an environment of familiarity that will make people more comfortable with our original stuff. You know, maybe that's the thing. Maybe like that shit didn't work for me at a convention, but maybe it would work for me on YouTube. You know? I don't know. It's like I kind of, it's like I said, I bristled when he was talking about it, but at the same time, it's like, I can kind of see your point. I can kind of, right, because here's the thing, right? So on House of Bob, me and Nita did a sex and comics episode. It's our most popular episode on House of Bob. Everybody, look, I love that episode. I love that episode. I got to show off all my favorite erotic comics. I got to show off the erotic comics that I worked on. I got to show off Girls of Terra X. I got to show off the work on La Blue Girl that I did. And we all had a good time. I got to talk a lot about Omaha the Cat Dancer. I mean, honestly, it's like I'm very proud of that episode. And if you're old enough, you can head on over to our archives and, either on my channel or on the Indie Comics Network or After Dark, it's there. You can watch it. And like, I think it's one of my favorite episodes. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, so the thing is, though, is that, but a lot of people watched it, and it's like, okay, it's like, would we have gotten those types of views if maybe I was just showing off Girls of Terra X? Well, maybe. I mean, it is a porn channel, so, it is a porn comic. So maybe that's not a good example. Maybe that's not really a good example, but but the thing is, though, it's like, so it's obvious that if people recognize something, they're more like, it's kind of like the whole thing where it's like people ask, what is your book about? Right. And the first thing that I do is I tell them it's like the Chronicles of Narnia meets The Witcher. Right. I'm not saying that it's exactly like that. But what I'm doing is that I'm using something that may be familiar to the person asking. Well, actually, with Tall Tales, like with Chronicles of Narnia meets The Witcher, that's what I use to describe Ego Raven, right? Which probably nowadays, after listening to the ElfQuest audiobook, I'm gonna have to say it's like ElfQuest and the Chronicles of Narnia meets The Witcher. I'm gonna have to switch it up. But like with Tall Tales, right? It's like, oh, what's Tall Tales about? Well, it's like if Disney did Lord of the Rings. Take that however you want, I guess. But like I said, the idea, it's like, it's not me telling them, well, it's like, it's like, it's exactly like this. But it's like, I'm linking my book to something that they're already familiar with. So that if that's something that they like already, they could say, oh, I like those two things. So maybe I'll like your thing too. And, so yeah. So maybe if I talk more about my favorite manga on the channel, if I do videos about my favorite manga, yeah, I think that's kind of the point. You switch to marketing yourself. If people like and trust you, they will be more willing to try your wares. Right. I'm kind of, that's how I'm interpreting Tyler's video. That he says that what we have to do as independent creators is that we have to make this connection with the audience, with an audience that may not know who we are, who don't know who we are. And we have to use media, the media that that they recognize, in order to connect them to us long enough so that when we do say, hey, I have a comic too, that they go, oh, well, I've liked what you've been doing so far with other people, the stuff that I do like, maybe I'll like your stuff too. You know? I mean, I can't say he's wrong on any level, really. I mean, it's like, he's not saying for you to talk about books that you don't like and try to grit your teeth through it, you know? Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, because you know what it is? Because people can tell when you're faking it. You know, that's the thing. You know, I mean, it's like people can tell when you're being a little bit like too over the top, and you know, then it comes off like more like you're being gimmicky rather than you're actually talking from a place of genuine interest, you know? You know, like there comes a, you know, it's like if you're a little too enthusiastic, it sounds like you're trying to push an IP rather than something that you enjoy doing. You know, I mean, yeah, it's a very fine line. Is it really? I don't know. Is it a fine line? You know, but you know, but yeah, it's like, so that's the thing. So Tyler is not saying for you to grit your teeth and just review anything. I mean, I literally have shelves full of books that could make hundreds of videos. I could make hundreds of videos out of, you know, and these are the books that I like. Why would I need to talk about a book that I don't like, or I feel like I'm forced to talk about? You know? So it's like, yeah. So in the end, it's like, that's not what he's saying at all. I mean, it's like, I'm literally looking at so many, and these are the books that made it into my office. I mean, I have books that I haven't been able to find room to put in that I still have. I mean, so it's like, yeah. So how do we save comics? By actually enjoying it for a change, maybe? You know, how do we expand our reach? By showing people that we're not like insular goblins bitching about everything, maybe. You know, you know, it's, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, when fan art isn't necessarily evil. I mean, it's like, look, you know, in the end, there are characters that I enjoy drawing. You know, again, it's one of those things like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to draw Deadpool, but I can draw Rocket Raccoon all day. You know? I mean, there's plenty of cat. You see, that's the thing. It's like, it's very easy. I'm so used to the negative rhetoric that I get wrapped up. It's like, oh, I don't want to draw Deadpool all day. I hate Harley Quinn. Well, here's the thing. Nobody is saying for me to draw Harley Quinn. Nobody's saying I have to draw Deadpool. You know? It's like, I can draw Better Ray Bill. You know? It's like, I'd love to draw Better Ray Bill. I'd love to draw. I mean, I have a whole stack of these sketch covers I still have to work on. Right? It's like, yeah, let's draw Better Ray Bill for a future episode. Let's draw another Rocket Raccoon. Let's draw more My Little Ponies. You know? I mean, nobody is saying for me to draw shit I don't like, you know? So, you know, that's the thing that I kind of have to, you know, get over, you know, that it's like, look, it's like what Joe says. It's like, sometimes we just make this shit complicated for ourselves when there's no reason to make it complicated, you know? Oh my goodness. So here's my sketch. So here's a sketch that I got from that pose that I randomly took out of this book. Like I said, it's from the company Masters of Anatomy, the publishers. I bought this on Kickstarter. If you want to go find it. I know that they still have a link. I think they might still have this book of still available as a physical book. All the other books I had to buy digitally. So, but I'm pretty sure that the next time they do a Kickstarter, they'll have everything available as physical. So I could just, I just like having a physical book I mean, I really do like having, once I loaded up their PDFs onto my phone, I actually, okay, cool. I can use this, but I really do like having the physical copies, So like I said, this is the first sketch out of 5 that I have to work on for the Kickstarter campaign that just finished. So that's what I got here. So, yeah, so let me just quiet that down. And what I'm going to do is, yeah, so there we are. Okay, hold on. Let me just, let me just move everything back. So, okay, so there we go. Everything is squeaking here. Hold on. So there we have it. So there it is. Let me just put this right here. So there we go. So that's what we got today. That's what we got today. But I would have people who get upset. I would have less than this, like that figure, and they would complain to me. It's like, oh, you're cheating, and it's like, whatever, and yeah, it's like, don't trust anybody who'll haggle with you over minion sketches. Jesus Christ. Actually, we can talk about that on Saturday. Yes, you know what? I completely forgot about the Don Rosa issue, and we can talk about that on Saturday, because I think that it's related to it's related to a lot of stuff that like finding out when professional artists, they have their erotica stash that gets discovered, and then their jobs are put in jeopardy. But this is obviously, this is not about an erotica stash. It's more about Don Rosa's Uncle Scrooge work didn't age well, and Disney wants to pretend it didn't happen rather than just put it in the historical context that it's from. And yeah, I think it's bullshit, but we can definitely talk more about that on Saturday, because yeah, I have plenty to say about that. Yes, so we'll definitely talk about that on Saturday. So yes, so like I said, if you want to join us on House of Bob on Saturday, hold on. Yes, so House of Bob, Saturday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, so it's an adults only stream. Like I said, you have to be registered and logged in order to view it, and we'll be showing some I think we're going to do something some different stuff this time around on this episode. I feel like inking. So instead of doing some digital work, we'll probably just do more traditional work. And we will be talking with Jake Twister about all this fun stuff. And yeah, so join us Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern for House of Bob. So let me just, put in boop and boop. There we go. So there you have it. Yeah, so we're able to at least get one sketch done, one sketch cover done. But I think I hope everybody enjoyed seeing all the books that I got. Like the little experiments that I'm doing. Like I said, the mini zine is actually pretty interesting. The Japanese books that I got are pretty interesting. Converting everything. They say that's the thing too. How many of you who are doing your own comics it's like, would you consider converting your work into that manga format if you think that it would get you net you a wider audience just by having that format in your library, you know. And this is the thing too, it's not about getting rid of one format in favor of another. I mean, it's like I would still have the Tall Tales books and the Eagle Raven books in this format, but it would also be in a manga, available as a manga format as well. I mean, it's like, I mean, if you think that you had to do that to reach a different audience, wouldn't you do it? But yeah, but it depends on whether your work allows it, right? Whether it translates properly or whatnot in terms of formatting. But it's oh, hey Charles, you're just missing it. We're just wrapping it up right now, but nice to see you here, Charles. So yeah, so that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for everybody in the chat for joining me. I think we had a great conversation, and if you missed it, like Charles, you can watch it on the replay. And then catch me next week on Wednesday. But also, you could also catch me on Friday as well with Nita when we do the Raging to the Vlogs show at 11 a.m. again. So like I said, thank you everybody in the chat for keeping me company. Thank you to the 9 people next to the giant eyeball on my screen. Thank you so much for joining us for this 2 hours. I hope it was entertaining. I hope you saw some stuff that maybe you'll pick up yourself, or just enjoyed the sketch that I did. It's like we're all doing something together, right? As I'm yapping away. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and everything else, let me see. What do I got here? You can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook right here. If you are into seeing sketches and current work in progress and more up-to-date updates, kind of like live updates as I'm working on stuff. So don't forget that you can watch all my previous videos and all my previous live streams on my YouTube channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for both those channels, because it doesn't kill you to hit those buttons. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And we have a whole bunch of stuff that you guys can watch as well. So, and don't forget that you can read Eagle Raven, Air the First Unicorn in its full color version through daily uploads at egoworks.com. But if you're feeling a little impatient, you can download a free PDF of the first 16 pages of the first issue as well. Remember, the Kickstarter for issue 6 is coming up. So if you want to kind of find out what the book is about before you pledge, before the campaign goes live, it's all there at egoworks.com. But if you prefer your comics to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, there you go. Right. You can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, but you also get daily uploads for the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which we will be releasing as a trade paperback later on this year. I think it's on the schedule. There's a lot on the schedule, so make sure you also sign up for the newsletter too, just to keep track of everything. So that's it for me. Like I said, I'll see everybody on Friday at 11 a.m. Catch me again on Saturday at 8 p.m. for House of Bob, and then we'll see you again starting the whole week all over again on Monday at 11 a.m. as well. So like I said, thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next time.